Baltimore-based fund Latimer Ventures announced plans for a culturally competent mini accelerator called Latimer House. The 60-day program aims to strengthen businesses, attract investment, and build a network for founders with the shared experiences. What are those founders with shared experiences that the Latimer House is particularly aimed at? Black and Latinx founders. So I'm not going to read the rest of this here, but basically my question to you is that we've talked multiple times about the Fearless Fund. The fund in Atlanta, started by Black women that is aimed specifically to work with Black women in its funding as far as giving them, I believe it was like $20,000 grants. And you had the American Alliance for Equal Rights. That's the dude that I think what he became famous for was going after affirmative action in colleges. Well, he runs this organization, and they went after Fearless Fund, and Fearless Fund initially won the court case, but then it went to the appeals, the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, and now there's an injunction temporarily enforced against Fearless Fund to where they cannot give these grants to these Black women. So I'm wondering with the Latimer House, could you see something similar to where they very clearly state that they are specifically targeting Black and Latinx founders, but I'm just wondering, is the language a little different? They're not only targeting them, that's just who they're primarily targeting. Is that going to be enough to get them off the hook?
Probably not, but at the same time, they say particularly aimed at Black and Latinx founders. Maybe the particularly aimed part would be the one to.
But I'm actually looking. I'm looking at latimerhouse.vc right now, and it says accelerating you to your next growth stage. Latimer House is an 8-week intensive program for Black and Latinx founders that helps them get to their next growth stage, whether that's funding or their first enterprise customers. So they are very clear at who they're targeting with this house. It'll definitely be interesting. And it says, and the FAQ, I'm looking at the FAQ right now. Who is the ideal applicant for Latimer House? The ideal applicant is a Black or Latinx founder with a well-defined problem they are uniquely positioned to solve. Based within the U.S. and focused on the U.S. market, they should be within 5 years of their founding date and have raised less than $1 million from any source of capital.
Hey, man, that whole thing about bootstraps, do they really want to pick us up by the bootstraps, or not those kind of bootstraps?
They don't. It'll be interesting to see if anybody goes after them. I just got a technically is a newsletter that is nationwide. It's like technically Philly, technically whatever city it's in. It's a newsletter for what's going on in tech. And I literally am looking at my inbox, and the technically Baltimore newsletter is about Latimer's first cohort, and it says meet Latimer's first cohort. So maybe this may be too small a potato for this guy that likes to try to bully organizations like this.
Too small. But Fearless Fund was doing $20,000 grants.
I know.
So too small doesn't. No.
And now that they've gotten some press around it, I think the spotlight is going to be on them. And I think people are just like, maybe the solution is to make this dude exhaust his resourtions by.
That's a good idea.
You want to keep doing these? We gonna keep doing these organizations.
Good luck with that.
Listen, I understand.
But what is he go run out of first, or what will be run out of first? Organizations trying to do this good work, or money funding the work that he's trying to overturn?
Yeah.
Sadly, I'm gonna go with the latter.
Yeah. Well, listen, I guess they figure we gonna as many as we can in before we get shut down.
Yeah. So no, I applaud the work, but it's just like I even felt kind of some kind of way about even bringing this story up. I was like, well, wait a minute, this is like hitting all kind of news stories now, so we can go ahead and talk about this because I don't want the tech job to be responsible for putting them on, somebody's radar. But yeah, this is. I mean, here's the thing. I don't think that most level-headed folks. This doesn't matter your political leaning or anything like that. But Robb. But most level-headed people would say, Just hear me out. Most level-headed people would actually look at numbers and say, well, yes, it looks like there are significantly fewer, black and brown people doing these kind of things. So if we're going to tell them to pick themselves up by their bootstraps and they actually are doing that, we're going to go in there and shut them down.
Yeah. Yes, they are.
And it's, so let me be clear. It's a fully, my 51 years on this planet, in this country. I fully expect that this is how, people are going to, respond to this. But they keep saying that there's level-headed people out there. I'm just trying to find some of them, because this is nuts. It's like, pick yourself up by your bootstraps. Okay. Let's do that. But you can't do that because you now are only focusing on the people that need to be picked up by the bootstraps. You need to, you can't do that. You can't focus on just those folks. That's, that's against the law. And it's like, what about all these other laws that was in place? Well, we're not talking about that. We're talking about this.
Right.
So yeah, it's one of those things to where, it's disheartening, because these funds do very, very good work. There is a problem with black and brown founders just not being able to get funding, with black and brown founders not getting the mentorship that they would get. Well, let's put a program in place to do that. That's not where we want to go. That is not the case yet here with Latimer House. They have not been sued to my knowledge at this point, but it's just, I see it coming. I see exactly what happened to Fearless Fund happening to them.
I mean, it's the hypocrisy of this country, right? Like, we don't want to teach the history. We want to lie. We want to cover up. We want to, down with CRT or whatever, when that's not even a thing. And it's just it's America. Welcome to America.